Yes, lads and ladies, welcome back to Lily White Lane. Hope you're all doing well, hope you're all doing okay, and today I'm going to be bringing you your Unbiased Premier League show right here, right now. But before we get into the video, make sure if you're new here to smash that subscribe button, hit that like button as hard as you possibly can, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss an upload. If you're new here, you can expect to see all kinds of Tottenham Hotspur content, whether it be match previews, match reviews, player ratings, Premier League shows, transfer updates, player ratings, the whole shebang. So make sure to smash that subscribe button. And without further ado, let's take a look at the weekend's game. So, we're going to start things off with Friday evening's game. It was Aston Villa versus Newcastle. A game, if you ask me, that Aston Villa deserved to win. I thought they were the better team overall. They had a lot more clear-cut chances that they should have buried. And at the end of the day, an early goal, as I say, it was a very, very nice header by Ollie Watkins. It did go in from a deflection. And since then, they sat back. They sat back the entire game, as I say. For me, they weren't clinical. They didn't give it their all. They could have been much, much, much more clinical. But at the end of the day, right, you have to look at Newcastle, and they're a team who are really, really fighting to stay up in the Premier League. So they needed to fight something out of this. They needed to scrap something out of this game, as I say. And they did with a last-minute equaliser, as I say. Last minute, literally the last couple of seconds of the game. Really, really good goal as well, to be fair to them. And as I say, this game ends 1-1. It's, you know, for Aston Villa fans, it's going to feel like a loss, understandably, because they were the better team, as I say, had a lot of clear-cut chances that they should have buried, you know, sat back for a lot of the game as well, and it did come to cost them. But, you know, you have to look at this Aston Villa side as a team who were really fighting to stay up last season. And this season they've cruised, you know, the relegation zone. And they're looking at a place in Europe. And to be fair to them, they've had some memories Villa fans will remember for the rest of their lives. Whether it be, you know, the 7-2 against Liverpool, the 3-0 against Sheffield, some absolute thrashings. You know, the 3-0 against Arsenal, the 1-0 against Arsenal. Big, big results, obviously. We're still yet to play them, but they're a very entertaining side to watch this season. I thought they should have won that game, but hey-ho, there you go. And, yeah, that takes us on to Saturday morning's game, or Saturday afternoons, I should say, the 12:30 kickoff, which was Leeds United versus Chelsea. A very, very interesting game, this one, because, you know, I think I speak for most football fans if they were watching this. I think I speak for everyone, as I say, heading into this one. I thought it would be goals galore. You know, a goal from Chelsea on the other side, a goal from Leeds, goal. It'll be about a 5-4 or a 6-5 or a 4-3 or a 4-3 or something like that. A high scoring game. At the end of the day, it just didn't turn out that way. I think it's a much, much better result for Leeds, as I say. Just like Aston Villa, they've cruised it coming up from the Championship. Definitely the best side that has come up this season. And very, very entertaining to watch. And I thought they would have at least scored. They had a lot of chances. And at the end of the day, Leeds were the better team in this game. As I say, they had a lot of chances that they should have buried. A lot of corners. They should have taken their chances, some headers from those. And, you know, for me, Chelsea's best player by a country mile, without doubt, for me, has to be Mendy. Edouard Mendy in goal. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. Astonishing saves, left, right and centre in this game. And Chelsea, for me, they sat back defensively well, but nothing up top. They weren't clinical. They had no creativity in midfield. And it's, you know, it's a big 0-0 draw for them. It's a big draw because they really wanted to win that one. As I say, most teams do end up beating Leeds if you can basically, you know, if you can get your tactics right, you beat them. If you sit back, absorb the pressure, because they're not that great at attacking, although they love to do it, press them high, score goals, as I say, you'll win the game. But Tuchel's very progressive up the pitch, as I say. Tactically, he keeps his midfield line close to his defensive line, moves them up slowly, keeps his high line as well. You know, keeps a high line, but also kind of sits back when he needs to. He's a very progressive manager, as I say. When they had Lampard, they were just crossing it in and hoping for the best. They're very progressive up and down the pitch. And, you know, the issue was about this, they just weren't clinical. They didn't create enough chances. And, you know, big result for Leeds. Not that great for Chelsea in this top four race. That takes us on to Saturday's 3 o'clock kickoff. Crystal Palace versus West Bromwich Albion. I'll be honest, didn't watch this game. I saw it on Match of the Day. And honestly, looking at some of the stats from this one, very, very boring game. But at the end of the day, Crystal Palace penalty strike, seal the deal. Crystal Palace do get the job done. As I say, big 3 points to them. Not much else to say on that game. That takes us on to 5:30's game on Saturday. It was Burnley versus Everton. I thought Burnley would win this one, not cruise it. But, you know, absolutely phenomenal from Burnley. Scored 2 goals early, sit back. Although they did concede, as I say, they deserve not to concede. I thought they were absolutely brilliant in this game. And, you know, Burnley were a team who people definitely thought would get relegated. And they've kind of proved to everyone under Sean Dyche, you know, this small team with these small group of players in the small ground is good enough for the Premier League. And it's a miracle what Sean Dyche is working with them. And, you know, fair play to Burnley because they do look like they are going to stay up. And it's a massive result for them. But on the Everton side of things, it must be absolutely gutting. A side that's pushing for top four, losing this big game, as I say. And it's got to be gutting for all Everton fans and Everton players. But I still think, look, I don't think they'll get top four. I never thought they would get top four, but I do have a feeling they may get top six. But, you know, we'll have to see how the season pans out. Nobody has a clue. As I say, 9 game weeks left. So, you know, big result for Burnley. Not much else to say on that one. That takes us on to Saturdays, 8 o'clock. Manchester City versus Fulham. 3-0 to Manchester City. And a very unfair scoreline on Fulham, if you ask me. Fulham were very good in this game. They absorbed the pressure well, and I think they should have scored. They had some clear-cut chances, very similar to Chelsea and, you know, Aston Villa. They had clear-cut chances that they should have put away, clear-cut chances that they should have buried, and they didn't. And at the end of the day, you know, Man City obviously were going to capitalise coming from a massive Manchester derby loss. And, you know, fair play to Manchester City. They've got to play Mönchengladbach in Europe. I think they'll win that currently with a 2-0 lead, as I say. And very dominant performance from them. 3-0. Man City obviously going to go on to win the league. But the question is, will they win the treble? I don't believe so. Because, I mean, they may win the treble, but not the quadruple. Because Tottenham Hotspur are going to win the Carabao Cup. But we'll get to Spurs in a minute. I won't comment that much on that one, obviously. Because, you know, we've already made loads of videos about the North London derby. But nevertheless, that takes us on to Sunday's 12 o'clock kickoff. A very good game. Very feisty, fantastic game of football, honestly. And it was Southampton versus Brighton. And for me, Brighton have been one of the most entertaining sides to watch this season. They've been fantastic, clinical, attacking, as I say. But the issue with them is they've only scored 1 goal and they've kept on attacking, but the other team has kept on beating them. And once they got that second goal, as I say, when it was 1-0, you know, Southampton didn't prepare for that. And massive win for Brighton. Not that great for Southampton. They're not doing the greatest right now, let's be 100% honest. Ralph's kind of fallen down after that 9-0 again. It really did knock them. But I think they'll come back on their feet. It's kind of the same story every season with Southampton. People think, may they get European football? They may get higher in the league top 10. And then they just, you know, start their demise down the table. So for me, they'll finish about 12th or 13th. They still showed signs of threat in this game. You know, really good cross from James Ward-Prowse, as I say, for their goal. Lewis Dunk, fantastic, gets another goal. Absolutely great player. I'd love him at Tottenham Hotspur, commanding centre-half. Before it was always Duffy and Dunk, and he's done really well to hold up that defence by himself, as I say. And they've got very good players, the likes of Trossard as well. Great finish from him. So as I say, you know, props to them. And I do hope Brighton do stay up this season because I like the football they play. I like their manager. They've got some very talented young players, the likes of Lamptey, Trossard. So, yeah, big result for Brighton. That takes us on to the 2:30, or it may have been 2 o'clock kickoff. I'm not 100% sure. Leicester 5, Sheffield 0. Big result for Leicester. They needed to get a result. As I say, they've been struggling quite a bit recently. Needed a result. What a result it was. Dominant performance. Iheanacho hat-trick. Really good from him. Vardy good. Not much else to say on that one. Obviously, I didn't watch this one either. I saw this one on Match of the Day too. Very good game from what it seems. And the issue with Sheffield is they sit back, but their defence isn't good enough. And as I say, right now they don't have a manager. They came into this game without a manager. And obviously coming into a huge game against a side that's pushing for top four, a top 4 side without a manager is not good enough. So the coaching staff had to try and just do what they can. And honestly, I feel bad for Sheffield United. I really do feel bad for Sheffield United. Chris Wilder obviously moving on. That's the main big news coming from their side of things. But dominant performance from Leicester. And I have a feeling, you know, a couple of weeks ago I thought Rodgers may bottle it again. And they've kind of proved to everyone, no, we're not going to bottle it again. 9 game weeks to go. I think they will get top 4. I really do think they will get top 4. And fair play to them, you know. Leicester in the Champions League, we haven't seen that since they won the title. And it should be very interesting. But what a job Brendan Rodgers is currently doing. That takes us on to the North London derby. Arsenal 2, Tottenham 1. I've said everything from a Spurs standpoint now. I have to do the thing I hate most, and that's crediting and praising Arsenal. They were very good in this game. Clinical on goal. Odegaard really shined for me. Lacazette blows a penalty. Don't want to say too much on that. As I say, if you want to check out all my North London derby content, check out my match review and Bobby's debrief. But as I say, you know, Arsenal 2, Tottenham 1. Crushing defeat, big result for Arsenal. Can they get top 6? I hope not, but maybe. That takes us on to the final game of the weekend. Obviously, there is Monday Night Football tonight. I may cover that in the next live stream or video I do. But Manchester United versus West Ham. And for me, this game came down to Manchester United. Because West Ham still pushing for European football. Put up a great fight. Sat back defensively very well. And unlucky to concede the goal. But as I say, they do get the ball into the back of the net. United, they sit back very well, as I say. Ollie's at the wheel, all of that rubbish. Or you know, 1 minute it's Ollie in, the next minute it's Ollie out, the next minute it's going to be Ollie shake it all about, because the Man U fans don't know what they're on about, a lot of them, in my opinion. But I think the reason they've been struggling is because of the board. And I think, you know, it's very similar to Tottenham's situation. But as I say, you know, it's looking likely that Ollie will be backed in the summer. It's looking likely that he could get a top-tier striker. I don't think that should be their priority. I think it should be a defensive midfielder and then a centre-half, and then you can start looking at strikers. But in my opinion, you know, dominant from Man U, and I thought if they win this game, they'll get top 4. So many points ahead of other teams. And in my opinion, they have got top 4 now. Nevertheless, this has been the Unbiased Premier League show, guys. Thank you for watching. And as always, come on, you Lily Whites.